From our studios in Scottsdale, Arizona, welcome back. This is Retirement News Online. So retirement planning isn't just about reaching a number. It is about creating the freedom to live life on your terms. Long before retirement begins, the decisions you make around saving, investing, taxes, healthcare, and lifestyle can have a significant impact on your future. Now, today we're going to discuss what retirement really means, how to prepare for it, and the key considerations that can help make the transition successful. And joining us here, he's in Scottsdale, Arizona himself, David Newby with Summit Wealth Group right down the road from us. David, welcome. It's good to see you here, and it's a beautiful afternoon in the valley here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's summertime here in the convection oven. When you meet with clients, how do you help them define what actually retirement means to them? Because it's actually something different for a lot of people, and there's a transition period I think that people go through where they realize, wow, I don't have anything to do really. How do you help them with that?
You know, I think the first thing to your point is actually having a plan and understanding that when every day becomes a Saturday and the alarm clock doesn't go off anymore, that you're probably not going to seek and find a lot of fulfillment in just playing golf every single day or in going to the store every single day. I think what a lot of people realize quickly is that they need to have a purpose and find things that they're passionate about and give them fulfillment. And doing a lot of those things and discussing those things before actually retiring is extremely important. You know, we generally give clients a few different books that they might consider reading before they actually retire. We may get them in contact and just host some client events where they can be around other retirees to find out maybe the challenges they had when they went into retirement and try to avoid some of the same pitfalls that they had themselves.
And I think people often think about just like traveling, all the traveling that they're going to do. They don't realize that a lot of that travel is actually to the doctor's office.
Sure.
Because a lot of that healthcare becomes an important part as you get older, and we're all living a lot longer. That's an expensive part of it too. And that's, I think, often not really a consideration until somebody tells them it is, right?
Sure. I mean, traveling, people always say, I've never had the chance to travel the world. When they were younger, they were raising kids or grandkids or running a business or building a business, right? And I think that traveling is something that's exciting to see other parts of the world and see history outside of the U.S. or the places that maybe you grew up or have lived in for most of your lives. But once again, unless you're able to see, find fulfillment in that, it just sort of becomes a little bit of a hassle to going through the airport, getting on the planes, traveling to different countries. But people always generally say the same thing. They love coming back to America.
Right.
And I've got to share a quick story with you. Years ago, a friend of mine was outside playing basketball with his son. And he said the neighbor was a retired couple across the street, and they were backing out of their driveway. And he said, "What are you guys doing today?" And the husband said, "We're going to the grocery store and then to the pharmacy." The wife leaned over and said, "No, we're not, because if we do both of those things today, we'll have nothing to do tomorrow." And I think that when you think about that in retirement, you have to understand and you have to, instead of having the thought process of retiring from something, you need to go into it and be thinking about retiring to something and having an understanding of what you're going to be doing, because it's not going to be the same exact thing every day. And if it is, you will probably be what we call a failed retiree. You're going to be seeking going back to work or working part-time to be around people, to be engaging with them and understanding that the human connection that we all have with each other is really a big part of a fulfilling life.
You know, let's talk about pre-retirement. So I think people think about, well, I can kind of get around to that a couple of years out and things like that. It's never too early to plan for retirement, but say that retirement red zone 5 to 10 years beforehand. What are the key considerations people need to start thinking about in that time period?
Yeah, great question. I think one of the biggest things people tend to do is they tend to think, am I too aggressively invested, or should I scale back how much I maybe have in equities and become more conservative? Because they feel like if they have a market pullback or a recession hits before that retirement date, they're going to have a big change in plans or work longer. The reality is, for most of them, that's not where most of the concerns should lie. Most of the concerns should actually lie in doing planning around taxes and Medicare and Roth conversions and healthcare and getting a big picture feel, because one of the biggest things that we often see is the lack of coordination across all of those areas. Many times people come in with maybe a handful of different investment or annuity products, but there is no coordination around when they're actually going to begin taking income from those products. They just bought it because it sounded like a good idea. And for us, what we really strive to have people understand and clients understand is it's much more than just investment management that makes a successful retirement.
And let's talk about income now. So,
Sure.
one of the biggest concerns and risks is sequence of returns risk, which for people watching is really, it's about timing. It's the problem that can occur if, as you start taking income, the market retreats if you're fully invested in the market, for example, and planning on the 4% rule or something. That's a lot worse than having the market retreat later on in your retirement. In the very beginning, it could really make it almost certain that you're going to run out of money too early. How do you prevent that from happening, or how do you fix that problem?
I think the first part is having a plan and a process. And for us at our firm, that planning process is central and pivotal to the beginning of the relationship with the client. I think for most clients, they don't really have a good understanding of how much stress they're going to have to put on their portfolio by how much withdrawals or what percentage of income they're going to need from that account. Depending on how much stress they're going to be drawing from the portfolio as far as an income percentage, we will look at a number of different items, from traditional investments to higher yielding alternatives to an income-driven annuities. The reality is it should be much more of a customized approach as opposed to a one-size-fits-all, because someone who has significant wealth and may be drawing 1 or 2% of the portfolio may not need the same type of products as the individual who may need 6 to 8% as income to make retirement work.
And you're here in Scottsdale with us. This is a retirement community. You must be just overcome with clients all the time, just knocking on your door and help me, for God's sakes. David, help me.
Thankfully, we are blessed, and we do see a lot of that. We are fortunate that our clients have been with us for a long time, and we get a lot of referrals. So, the city is growing. We know that people need what we do, and we believe that what we do it very well. I believe that much of the industry still centers around investment management, and every time you get together, it's this conversation about how your portfolio performed and how you're doing. And for us, it's much more about the other things: estate planning, tax planning, which is a big part to make sure that you're minimizing what you're paying. And that's something you have to do on a year-to-year basis, not just something that you do once a year and call it, not just something you do one time and call it good.
Right.
Tax laws change, people's situations change. If tax planning is not part of a retirement plan, we wouldn't really call that a retirement plan, to be honest with you.
Yeah, well, I think you answered my last question right there, which a lot of people are working with quote-unquote asset managers, right? Yep. Brokers, for example. How do they know if they have the right person, that they're working with now to talk about retirement?
I think the question you have to ask yourself as a client is, when I go into these meetings, are they truly answering everything that is on my mind? Do I feel like they're educating me so I know what I own and why I own it? Are we talking about tax planning? Are we talking about education? Are we talking about my kids and grandkids? Legacy planning, estate planning? If those are not the types of conversations that are taking place, it may be time to seek a second opinion or find someone who does that, because the financial advisor role has really changed to where it's not investment management, it's so much more than that, because tax planning is one of the focal points of our planning process. And many clients come in and say, I've been with the same advisor for 5, 10, 15 years, and we've never once had a tax conversation. And I think that's surprising to hear that.
I think you can see why David and his firm get so many referrals. Thank you so much, David. It's a pleasure. David Newby with Summit Wealth here in Scottsdale, Arizona. If you'd like to find out more about Retirement News Online, we have conveniently created a website, and it's retirementnewsonline.com. Check it out. Thanks for watching.